Welcome to Simple English. Strong mind. Here, your words grow stronger, and so does your heart.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Simple English, Strong Mind. I'm David, and today we're going to talk about something that affects almost all of us at some point in our lives, anxiety.
And I'm Sarah. It's great to be here with you all again. You know, David, I think this topic is so important because anxiety is something universal, yet we often don't know how to deal with it properly.
Absolutely, Sarah, and that's exactly why we wanted to dedicate an entire episode to understanding and managing anxiety. Before we dive in, I'd like to remind our listeners that while we provide practical advice, we're not mental health professionals. If you're struggling with severe anxiety, please reach out to a qualified therapist or counselor.
That's a great point, David. And speaking of which, what exactly is anxiety? I think many people confuse normal stress with anxiety disorders.
That's a perfect place to start. Anxiety is our body's natural response to stress. It's that feeling of fear or apprehension about what's to come. It's actually normal to feel anxious before an important meeting or when making big decisions.
Right. It becomes a problem when it's excessive, persistent, and interferes with daily activities. That's when we might be dealing with an anxiety disorder rather than just everyday stress.
Exactly. And there are several common types of anxiety disorders. Let's go through some of them. First, there's generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, which involves excessive worry about everyday things.
I've actually experienced some of that myself. It's like having a constant background hum of worry about everything, from work deadlines to whether I lock the front door, even when there's no real reason to be concerned.
That sounds really challenging, Sarah. Thanks for sharing that. Then there's social anxiety, which is an intense fear of social situations and being judged by others.
Oh, I've known several friends who struggle with this. One of my closest friends would feel physically ill before attending parties or speaking in meetings. She'd worry for days in advance about saying the wrong thing or being perceived as awkward.
That's a perfect example. People often think social anxiety is just shyness, but it's much more intense and can be truly debilitating. Another common type is panic disorder, which involves recurring panic attacks that can feel like you're having a heart attack.
Those sound terrifying. I've heard people describe panic attacks as feeling like they're dying.
They can be extremely frightening, especially the first time when you don't know what's happening. Then we have specific phobias, intense fears of specific things like flying, heights, or spiders.
I definitely have a bit of a spider phobia, though not to a clinical level. I just do the classic, please come remove this spider, call to my roommate.
Many of us have those kinds of fears. And finally, there's work-related anxiety, which has become increasingly common in our high-pressure, always-connected world.
That's so true. The boundaries between work and personal life have become so blurred, especially since more people started working from home. I know plenty of people who feel anxious about checking their email after hours or worry constantly about job performance.
Exactly. So now that we understand some common types of anxiety, let's talk about what we can do when we start feeling anxious. Sarah, do you have any immediate techniques that help you when anxiety strikes?
Absolutely. My go-to technique is called the 5-4-3-2-1 method. When I feel anxiety building, I identify 5 things I can see, 4 things I can touch, 3 things I can hear, 2 things I can smell, and 1 thing I can taste. It forces my mind to focus on the present rather than worrying about the future.
That's brilliant. It's a form of mindfulness that helps ground you in the present moment. I personally use deep breathing exercises, specifically the 4-7-8 technique. You breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, and exhale for 8 seconds. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps calm you down.
I need to try that one. Another technique I find helpful is what therapists call challenging cognitive distortions. When I catch myself thinking catastrophic thoughts like, I'm going to fail completely, I try to challenge that thought with evidence. I've prepared well, and even if I make mistakes, it won't be a complete disaster.
That's such an important skill to develop. Our thoughts are often unrealistically negative when we're anxious. I also find physical movement incredibly helpful. Even just a quick walk around the block can help reduce anxiety by burning off some of that excess energy and releasing endorphins.
Moving your body definitely helps. And don't underestimate the power of simply talking to someone supportive. Sometimes just verbalizing your anxious thoughts can take away some of their power.
Absolutely. You know what? I think it might be helpful to share a personal experience with anxiety and how I managed it. Would that be okay?
I think our listeners would really appreciate that, David.
Well, a few years ago, I was given a major presentation opportunity at work. It was in front of the entire company, including all the executives. As the date approached, my anxiety became overwhelming. I couldn't sleep, I lost my appetite, and I started having these scenarios in my head where I would completely freeze up on stage.
That sounds really intense. How did you handle it?
The turning point came when I talked to a colleague who had done similar presentations. He suggested I break down my preparation into small, manageable steps and practice in increasingly challenging environments. First alone, then with a friend, then with a small group. I also used visualization techniques, imagining myself succeeding, and those deep breathing exercises I mentioned.
And how did the presentation go?
It wasn't perfect, but it went well. I made a few minor mistakes, but nobody seemed to notice except me. The feedback was actually really positive. The experience taught me that anxiety doesn't have to stop me from doing important things. I can acknowledge it and still move forward.
That's such a powerful lesson. I have a similar story about social anxiety. I used to dread networking events, would literally get stomach aches before them. What helped me was setting small, achievable goals, like I'll just have 3 meaningful conversations tonight, instead of feeling pressured to work the entire room.
That's a great approach. So we've talked about immediate strategies for managing anxiety in the moment. Now let's discuss some longer-term lifestyle changes that can reduce anxiety over time.
I think regular exercise is at the top of the list. Research consistently shows that regular physical activity is as effective as medication for some people with anxiety.
Absolutely. And sleep is crucial too. When we're sleep deprived, our anxiety levels increase significantly. Establishing a consistent sleep schedule and a relaxing bedtime routine can make a huge difference.
Another big one is reducing caffeine and alcohol. Both can worsen anxiety symptoms, even though people sometimes use alcohol to try to relax.
That's an important point. What seems like a quick fix can actually make things worse in the long run. I'd also add nutrition to the list. Eating regular, balanced meals helps stabilize blood sugar, which can reduce anxiety symptoms.
And let's not forget about mindfulness and meditation. Even just 5 to 10 minutes daily can help train your brain to be less reactive to anxious thoughts. There are so many great apps now that make it easy to get started.
Meditation has been life-changing for me. And speaking of technology, I think it's worth mentioning digital boundaries. Constantly checking news or social media can significantly increase anxiety levels.
Ooh, I'm definitely guilty of doom scrolling sometimes. Setting specific times to check news and social media rather than doing it constantly has helped me a lot.
We all do it. Another long-term strategy that's been proven effective is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It helps you identify and change thought patterns that lead to anxious feelings.
That's so important to mention. Professional help can be incredibly valuable. Therapy isn't just for severe cases. It can help anyone develop better tools for managing anxiety.
Absolutely. And there's no shame in seeking help. It's actually a sign of strength and self-awareness.
You know, we've covered a lot of strategies today, but I think it's also important to address how anxiety differs across cultures and backgrounds. Some communities might not talk openly about mental health issues or might express anxiety in different ways.
That's a really important point, Sarah. In some cultures, Anxiety might manifest more as physical symptoms, like headaches or stomach problems, rather than being recognized as a mental health issue. And access to resources for managing anxiety can vary widely depending on where you live and your economic situation.
Exactly. And that's why it's so valuable to have multiple strategies to choose from. Different approaches work for different people in different situations.
Well said. As we start to wrap up, I'd like to emphasize that managing anxiety is a journey, not a destination. There will be good days and challenging days, and that's completely normal.
Absolutely. The goal isn't to eliminate anxiety completely. Some anxiety is normal and even helpful. The goal is to prevent it from controlling your life and to have tools to manage it effectively when it arises.
I think that's the perfect note to end on. Let's summarize the key points we've covered today.
First, anxiety is a normal human experience, but it can become problematic when it's excessive or interferes with daily life.
Second, there are several types of anxiety, including generalized anxiety, social anxiety, panic disorder, specific phobias, and work-related anxiety.
Third, immediate strategies for managing anxiety include deep breathing, the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique, challenging negative thoughts, physical movement, and talking to someone supportive.
And fourth, long-term approaches include regular exercise, good sleep habits, mindful consumption of caffeine and alcohol, balanced nutrition, meditation, digital boundaries, and professional help when needed.
We hope this episode has given you some practical tools to manage anxiety in your own life. Remember, small steps can lead to significant improvements over time.
And as we always say on Simple English Strong Mind, building mental strength is just like building physical strength. It takes practice, patience, and persistence, but the results are absolutely worth it.
If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit. And let us know in the comments what strategies work best for you when dealing with anxiety.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with another topic to help you build a stronger mind with simple English. Until then, take care of yourselves.
Bye, everyone. And remember, you're not alone in dealing with anxiety. We're all in this together.